Hi, and thanks for joining me for this sourcing webinar. We're going to look at one specific job requirement and analyze it. We will analyze the technical vocabulary, we will analyze the role itself, and then dive deeper to how to actually find the specific IT professional. So let's dive right in. So the front-end Angular developer, it's a remote position. So that's so much easier than to look for people in one specific country, right? So it's a remote position. There are plenty front-end developers and plenty of front-end Angular developers as well. So shouldn't be that difficult to fill in this position, right? And those of you guys who already submitted candidates for ET 101 or ET 102, it's very similar, although in this case, we are focusing on Angular framework on the front end. So let me just look at these core competencies. So front-end developers build the website, the front-end part of it, right? That's clear, I guess, by now to everyone. We are looking for someone who uses the particular framework called Angular. So they will be building a new website based on the minimum viable product, based on the prototype. They need to build it from scratch, which is really exciting. And that was a great selling point to some developers. I was interviewing some developers for this position as well. And when I was positioning it as an opportunity to join a company that is about to recreate the product from scratch, candidates found it really interesting. So this is a strong selling point, especially for the more senior developers. For juniors, it's not such a sweet spot because juniors don't really know how to do it. But for senior candidates, that's a dream job coming true. So what are the requirements? Well, the must-have competencies are front-end web development. We can really simplify it. You guys know by now that I don't like these lengthy job descriptions with 20 bullet points of requirements. It is just 3 really. It is the experience with front-end development. It is the experience with this particular framework and fluent English. So yeah, that's it. If we get great front-end web developers with decent experience who were working on some products in the past, so not just in an agency, for example, but in some product companies, especially with Angular framework, and candidates who can speak good fluent English, then they have very high chance of being hired. If they know TypeScript, that's an advantage because TypeScript is becoming more and more popular, and a lot of tech leads see this as the next big thing in front-end development. So those who know it already have an advantage. The screening questions reflect the must-have competencies. So the first one being, do you have at least 4 or 5 years of experience with front-end web development? Yes or no? Very straightforward, right? Have you worked with Angular for at least 2 years full-time in production? Very straightforward. If not, then not the best fit. Have you worked or used Next.js in a production environment? Have you worked with this particular library before? It doesn't have to be for 2 years, doesn't have to be for 1 year, but at least for some time. Have you created custom UI components? Is your English good enough to communicate with international colleagues on Zoom? It's a remote position. The company is based in Switzerland. The new joiner is from Romania. I don't recall from top of my mind. Juliana, I guess it was your candidate, no? So maybe you remember the candidate from Romania or Serbia? No, I'm not sure. Bulgaria? I don't know. There was another candidate from Ukraine, also great candidate, but yeah, due to the situation, yeah, he didn't feel it's good time to proceed with the candidate. Active sourcing locations: Slovakia, Poland, Czech Republic, Hungary, Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia. But the client is open to interview candidates from anywhere around the globe. So like people who are in these countries have most likely higher chance because of the culture fit, but of course, they don't discriminate anyone even before they were interviewing candidates. But there were, for example, some really good candidates in Ukraine, but due to the situation in Ukraine, they couldn't really continue the application process. So that's why I would start with these countries. And of course, Romania could be also well considered. So what are the sourcing keywords? Slightly changed because there is this focus on Angular. So I like to split the sourcing keywords to two groups: the title and skills. So in title, I would write something like frontend or frontend or frontend, and developer or engineer or programmer. We could also include some more local variations. For example, in the Czech Republic, it would be vývojář. And the second attempt could be Angular and developer or engineer or programmer. The next one could be software engineer or developer or programmer as well. So great candidates come from all of these combinations. And skills that the candidate could have on the profile, of course, like JavaScript, TypeScript should be there, but Angular should be there as well. These others, they don't have to be on the profile, but it is very likely that front-end Angular developers would have these on their profiles. And what we could do is also to research some more. This is not a fully complete list. So what we could do in the next 10 minutes is just to review some profiles of front-end Angular developers and just try to find some of the keywords that keep repeating all the time, and even add some more keywords to this list. Sounds like a good plan. Oh yes, Juliana, Colin. Yes, Colin is his name. Such a great candidate. The CTO is so excited. Hopefully, Colin will not pull back, as it sometimes happens. But he should start already next week on Monday. So hopefully not. Anyway, okay. So let's go to LinkedIn. We can review a few profiles in this testing project. Let's go through a few Angular developers, and we can check. I'll choose this Angular as this title focused on Angular. So we would be looking for Angular developers, some people who have it in the title, in the current title. Gosh, I'm always so confused why this is by default. Current should be by default. Well, anyway, 84 results. It's not that bad. Years of experience, I can slightly decrease. 4 would be enough. So we have 100 people in these 3 countries. So Java and Angular developer, senior Angular developer. So let's open up Dragan. Vladimir, Zofia. Let's see if we can find some other keywords that would be specific to these front-end developers. So CSS, Git, JavaScript, PHP, no. HTML2, generic web development, C, SEO, usability, Agile, Scrum, web application, front-end development, project management, Drupal, jQuery, X, LAMP, Ajax, MySQL, Apache, open source. Nothing really SaaS we have. Jira, less we have as well. Post CSS, probably. Let's check what is this all about. Post CSS is a software development tool that uses JavaScript-based plugins to automate routine CSS operations. Sounds like something front-end developers would use. So we could check it out. Angular, English, and that's pretty much it. Gulp as well. Okay, so nothing so interesting on this developer's profile. I mean, he is a senior Angular developer. That's great. But I mean, interesting regarding some new keywords that we could use to find similar profiles. So yeah, but this is good. 3 years, senior Angular. He was a senior before, 5 years, 11 years. Wow, that's present. Okay. 9, 10 years. Okay. So he seems to have decent experience. Let's check Zofia. Angular developer, front-end developer, junior developer. That's a nice career path. In Accenture, a junior, then in another company, mid-level, and progressing to a more senior developer next. Focuses on Angular. Tailwind. What is Tailwind? Tailwind CSS. Rapidly built modern websites. CSS framework. Well, similar to Post CSS. Let's check some more keywords. Angular, JavaScript, Node, Scrum, HTML, Android, Visual Studio. Well, nothing new. Okay, so it looks like the keyword is Angular. And let's open up 1 or 2 more profiles. Front-end developer. What about Igor? Well, then team lead. Probably not team lead. I'll open him up, but maybe he will be slightly overqualified. Team lead developer, 5 years and 2 years. Well, it doesn't really look that experienced to be overqualified. So he still could be a good fit. It is just what, 5 years of experience. That's all right. And what about some of these skills? Angular, Spring. What is Spring? I don't remember this. Well, probably he meant Spring. Spring, digital printing, photography, offset, print design, less. Okay, so nothing new. AngularJS, this is the old version of Angular. I'm not using it intentionally. So could be also interesting. What about Igor? Angular developer, works on EY projects. Well, what is EY? Ernst & Young? Probably. Well, I don't know. Proactive in solutions, TypeScript. Well, Postgres, Swagger, RabbitMQ, those are the backend tools. So, but for the last 7 months, he only focuses on frontend, even 4 years before. So he seems to be a decent Angular developer. Very cool, very cool. I would probably not approach him right away because he just started in this company. So maybe not really worth using an email, but otherwise a good profile. Front-end developer, Angular. So what I also like to look at is a list of the previous positions. For example, we can see that now he is a front-end developer. Previously, he had the title software engineer, but probably he was still working on the front end. Just his title, official title, was a software engineer. So this is something we can consider in the sourcing keywords and also when evaluating candidates. The fact that they don't have written Angular in the title doesn't mean we should disqualify them. It just means that they are not as straightforward as we would love them to be. In the ideal world, they would all have this title. That would be very straightforward for us in recruitment, but maybe they see it differently. Maybe they don't want to position themselves so narrowly, and that's okay. I mean, we can read between the lines, right, when we visit a CV of a candidate. So cascading sheets, animation, Final Cut Pro, well, those are video related. React, we are not interested in. ES6, actually, ECMAScript could be, but really, this is just Angular is the keyword of choice. So now when we go through these profiles, there is nothing really more that would stand out, and we can find a lot of developers who have the title Angular developer. So, but we will get to the end of this list relatively quickly, right? It's just 100 people. We can add more countries. We can add Poland with Poland right here with a few hundreds more, hopefully, developers. Yeah, 400 more. So in total, 513. Suddenly, the pool is bigger. We can approach them. And the question is, what is next? What will we do after we exhaust these locations? Do we start sourcing in, I know, India? Do we start sourcing in Africa? Or do we change the title? Because as I mentioned, not all of these developers must necessarily have the title Angular developer or engineer. But what we could do is, for example, to change the scope to past, and suddenly we will have another maybe 1,000 people who 500, another 500 people who don't or may not have the title right now Angular developer, but they still may be interesting for some reason. So let's just check it out. For example, this developer Mateus, you see he was a developer, Angular developer, but now he is just, when I say just, I mean, you know, it's not easy, but I mean, not, he's not specifying that he's an Angular developer, but he uses Angular, as you can see, in these two positions. So he is a software developer who uses Angular and Nest.js, which, by the way, this could be also an interesting keyword. It is like Next.js, but it's another one. It's Nest.js, so we could add it to the list potentially. Where was it? So with this approach, we can find another pool of developers who have the relevant experience because he worked with Angular for 2.5 years, another 1 year, and another 1 year. Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. 4.5 years with Angular. That's awesome. He's a great fit. And it's just a little trick to change from current to past. You can also just go with default current or past, but then it will be just a huge mix of everyone. It will be 1,000 people, and it's probably too cumbersome to go through. You see 937. It's quite a lot to go through, so I would rather slice this pie to 2 smaller pies. One pie would be those who have the Angular in the current title, and the second group would be those who had it in the past. It's the other 400, 500 people. Obviously, some of them will not be good candidates anymore for this position. For example, this developer apparently changed from the front end to the back end. You see, he even before he was a full stack developer, and now he only focuses on the backend. Apparently, .NET developer. He doesn't mention front-end technologies at all anymore. C#, .NET, WinForms, REST, Microsoft SQL. So he shifted his focus from front-end or full stack, including front-end, to backend only. So this guy would not be a good fit, but the other, who we saw just a minute ago, he would be a good fit. Application architect as well. You see, and I wouldn't even think about this particular title, application architect, to include in this list, because I would be like, application architect, that's a bit strange. But maybe that's just how they call it in this company. But he probably just anyways writes front-end a website with Angular, with NGRX, TypeScript. So this guy would be actually a good fit as well. Quite interesting, isn't it? And this is the person we were looking at. So in the past, he had the title Angular developer. Then he changed companies. Now he doesn't have that particular title, but we can read between the lines that he is an Angular developer. Maybe he works both on the front end and back end. Probably. What about someone else? This developer shifted from Angular to Vue.js. Nuxt is on the backend, Vue.js is on the front end. So he shifted his focus to another. And this developer seems to be a good fit as well. So he was an Angular 5 developer and still is an Angular developer. So many great profiles, right? So this should be a quick close. The client is, by the way, looking for 2 people, 2 front-end Angular developers. So let's go get some of them. What do you guys think? How do you, by the way, do your search, Juliana? Do you do you go through profiles per country, or do you have another strategy? How do you approach it? If you'd like to talk, just let me know. I can also just click a button and allow you to talk. Keywords, Boolean string. Cool. So would you improve anything on the one that I was sharing? What else would you include? What else would you change? How would you approach it? If you'd like to talk, then I can just, yeah, now you can unmute if you'd like. If not, then that's okay. You will include front end. Oh yes, of course. I skipped it here, but it's the first one. So front end or front end, developer, engineer, programmer. You can definitely even start with that, or you can have a mix of front end or Angular. So sky is the limit. Oh yeah, you unmuted. Awesome. But we cannot hear you. I'm afraid. No, we cannot hear
now
you.
it's better?
Oh, yes, now we can. Yes, awesome.
Okay. Even there is a filter open to opportunities in the top, open to work. We can filter that.
Oh yes, yeah. I have the LinkedIn Recruiter Lite version, so it doesn't work on my end. I would need to upgrade to the non-Lite version.
But I think it worked.
Yeah. It doesn't look to work on my end.
Okay.
No.
I use corporate and that is working.
Cool. Well, because I have the Lite version, so probably that's why. But
in advanced search, we can select as well the years experience.
Okay, so I have 4 to 30. Would it decrease? Sometimes I'm wondering. Well, in this case, most of the candidates have only up to 15 years, 15, 16. Maybe those over 10 would be slightly overqualified, or they would be over budget. So maybe I would decrease to 4 to 7. That could be. We can prioritize this group at first, we go through them, and then the second search could be 8 to 15. That could also be a good idea. Would you add anything else or some other keywords or?
In the keywords, we'll retain more relevant profiles if we use Boolean strings like in the brackets, Frontend, and Angular.
Frontend and Angular.
But we can put it in the in the brackets, so it will retrain the words exactly that words to be in the profiles. Yes.
Yeah. Could be front end, or it could also be the alternative to front end, like front end and Angular. Yeah. So now we went to 380 people, which is great. Now we see people, especially front end developers, front end. That's awesome. Yes, very cool. Very cool. Okay, would you add some more keywords, some other keywords? I don't know, some of these or some other keywords.
If JavaScript is nice to have, we can put it as well in the keywords like this front end and then JavaScript, and it will come profile with that.
Yeah. And JavaScript could either be here or it could be in skills, because it's one of the skills that developers have anyway. So I would put it here, JavaScript or TypeScript. Doesn't really matter. Could be both. And probably all of them would have it anyway on the profile. No, not all of them. There were some who dropped off the list. It is 360 now. Cool. Okay, so that's great. So then, the hard part is to just reach out to these people, start engaging with them, figure out who is open to a new opportunity. It's such a pity, by the way, that LinkedIn doesn't have this filter to filter out people who just started a job. For example, this person may not be there for even a year, so it's maybe not that likely she would be open to a new opportunity. But maybe that's why there are these insights, open to work, more likely to respond. So it would be a good idea to upgrade. But yeah, it's quite expensive, this corporate version. It's, what is it? Even this one, this light version costs 120 or so euros. So, okay, so now the question is, when we have all these profiles, for example, Dragan, what do we do to approach them? And also, how do we utilize emails to the max? Because, we may only have 30, right? 30 or maybe 50, maybe I have now 100 or so, but we can anyway just really quickly waste them, and then we would need to wait a month. So, we want to send high quality emails that people respond to, whether positively or negatively. So, for example, looking at this front-end developer in Serbia, developer at M&I Systems, he's been there for 3 years. It's just about time to change, probably. He's been quite active in Drupal. What about Zofia? She's in Hungary, 2 years. Well, that's time to change. I would probably write to Zofia. We don't have too many females usually, so let's send her a message. So hi Zofia, and now let's just really quickly remind ourselves, what is this company all about? Would you like to join a funded startup to take the MVP they show to investors and rewrite its front end from scratch? Our client builds data visualization platform for Industry 4.0. They can detect anomalies on the production line. This platform can simulate data model the manufacturing process, increase efficiencies. Think of the AI, data visual detection. This is as high tech as it can get. Awesome. This will be a great fit if you'd like to I can rephrase this because she may not have 10 years of experience. So let me just copy this part and this part. Okay, I'll just copy it here so it is in one place. Hi, Sophia. What is interesting about her profile? Green Fox Academy. No. Well, nothing really stands out. She has just interesting career path, but that's so boring, isn't it? She's from Hungary. She's from Budapest. I was in Budapest just recently, so maybe I can mention it as a little bridge. Well, no, sorry about it. Hi, Sophia. I stumbled upon your profile while going through, well, that's so boring, isn't it? While going through front-end developers in Budapest. But there is nothing that stands out really on this profile. Green Fox Academy, no. What would you guys use as an opening statement? Or how about just, hi, Sophia. Would like to, no. It needs some better bridge. What would you guys start with? Well, I'm always thinking this through. How about you guys also try to come up with some good opening? Let's use the group creativity to find some good opening sentence, opening line to Zofia, who is an Angular developer. She works for the last 2 years as an Angular developer. She used Angular even before for two another years. So she may be a really great fit. So probably that's what I would start with now when I'm thinking about it. I noticed you used Angular in all your previous companies. This level of consistency, well, you're becoming an expert. I'm working with an engineering team from Switzerland that builds a data visualization platform that they can detect and manage on production line. Okay, now, so what? They are building or they are creating a front-end website to visualize the data and look for a senior, relatively senior, mid-level senior, a senior Angular developer to join the team, to join the product team. And they're looking for someone like you. For a senior Angular developer like yourself, or like you, or like yourself? Because I'm not sure. Like you to join the product team. please let me know. And I'll arrange a quick call. Angular data platform. Hi, Sophia. I noticed you used Angular in all your previous companies. You are becoming an expert. I'm working with an engineering team from Switzerland that builds a data visualization platform for Industry 4.0 that they can detect anomalies on the production line where a camera screens the stuff on the line and the AI running behind it can detect product anomalies. They are creating a front-end website to visualize the data and look for a senior Angular developer like you to join the product team. Think of the AI, data visualization, visual detection. This startup or this product is as high-tech as it can get. Would you like to be a part of it? Please let me know and I'll arrange a quick call. Okay, Angular data platform. What do you guys think? Sounds reasonable. And it's actually free. So I don't even need to use an email. Alrighty. So yeah, sounds good. And there are so many front-end developers out there. So it's just about going through this hassle at first, thinking through the sourcing strategy, thinking through this template. But once you have the template, then you can just copy and paste it from one person to the other. Obviously, you need to slightly personalize it from one person to the other. But once you have it, then you can just go to Dragon, message him as well, slightly tweak the message. You don't want to send completely the same, right? People can smell it from the distance, but once you tweak it slightly in the beginning and somewhere in the middle, then people will be pleased to see that you took the time to read their profile and check if that would be a good fit for them. Cool. So yeah, do you guys have any questions before we wrap it up? It was faster than usually because this position was similar to those we covered. So I didn't explain really what is front end, what is Angular, what is JavaScript, TypeScript, but rather focused on the other aspects of this opening. So the good news is that a lot of companies are looking for front-end developers. So if you learn how to do this, then you can just replicate it one after the other. So yeah. All right. So if there are no questions, Juliana, Olivier, we will see each other on Monday at 4 p.m. Please join on time so that we can go through the introductions and everything. It will be a real meeting, not like a webinar now, but a meeting where you will have cameras on and you will unmute and we will talk and it will be awesome. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for joining, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day.